Thanks, Green. You've said the president was responsible for gas prices coming down. Is the president responsible for gas prices going up?
So it's a lot more nuanced than that, right? Peter, you know this. There have been global challenges that we have all dealt. All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Green.
Okay.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Happy Saturday. Today is November 16th, 2024. Shout out to everybody watching. Drop your comments down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. It does help with the YouTube algorithms. And if you're catching this on the replay, I don't know why I did that. Gosh. But if you're catching this on the replay, type in replay in the comment section. We have a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about. The first half of this video is actually not even a half, but a quarter of it. We're going to talk about what happened last night regarding the Netflix debacle with the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson stuff. So if you don't know, Jake Paul fought Mike Tyson. We're going to jump into some Kamala Harris still attempting to be relevant, Pennsylvania voting, Mr. John Fetterman, some pissed off Chicago residents, Whoopi scandal, and of course, the new press secretary. So come on in, everybody that is joining. Lily says, I am bundled up. Yeah, I am. I don't have the heater on right now, and I actually have the back door open. So, wow. I have the back door open, so sounds like something you say at a Diddy party. But anyways, I have the porch open. So we're going to jump into this. If you're joining, come on in. Hopefully everybody's doing amazing today. So this Netflix debacle that happened last night, how many of you guys watched the fight last night? We were actually streaming the fight on Discord. One of the members of the Discord group and moderator of the chat, My Mind, was hosting the fight live on Discord. So if you're not part of the Discord group, jump into the description link down below. There is a Discord link. You can join the Discord group. You know, we do things like this every now and then, whether it's this fight or sometimes we do we do a lot of WWE stuff, you know, boxing, just stuff like that, just to connect with the community. So that link will be in the description down below. And yes, this was a highly anticipated fight. First thing I want to address is the constant buffering and overload of Netflix. Netflix was not prepared for any of this. Their servers kept on going down, and this is what you got. It just kept buffering and buffering. So they didn't have their server situation connected right, and it was just a complete mess. Audio visual was a mess as well. And the main event, right, the highly anticipated Mike Tyson event, it was a no contest, right? Poly Market had Jake Paul winning at like 63%. And, you know, Mike Tyson's 60 years old, right? And me growing up watching Mike Tyson, seeing Mike Tyson fight in the 90s and 80s, there was hope, right? It was like, oh man, he can come out swinging, an old Iron Mike. But, you know, Father Time has like definitely gets us all, right? Novi says the buffering was absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, actually, the fight was not good, right? And it was a lose-lose, I think, for Jake Paul, because either, you know, you beat up a 6-year-old a once untamable lion. Now you're fighting this older gentleman. Anyways, buffering was ridiculous, but I wanted to jump into this, right? So post-fight, this was probably one of the best highlights of the fight, to be honest with you. This is what Jake Paul had to say post-fight.
Tonight's not about me, man. I wanted to give a thanks to all the real heroes, the U.S. military, the doctors, the nurses in the ER, the cops, the firefighters, the farmers, the truck drivers, all the people who make this world go around. Thank you, America. It's the era of truth. It's the era of good. There's a shift in the world, and good is rising. The truth is rising. I'm just honored to be a part of America, and it feels like we're back, baby. Tonight's not about...
So the reason why I bring that up is because Jake Paul openly came out and endorsed Donald Trump. And he's saying it's the era of truth, right? New eras coming. So that was a very good highlight to me, at least, of the fight or post-fight, right? The fight was garbage. My mind says after round 2, Tyson was downhill 100%. I think they got like, my mind, if you could check it, I don't remember the final numbers, but I think each of their purses was like $40 million, right? The co-main event, there were these two. There was a Puerto Rican woman and then an Irish woman, and the co-main event was absolutely. It was a good co-main event. Two women going at it. Ellis says, being 60, he's in good shape. I agree. I agree with that. I agree. So I just wanted to share that little highlight from post-fight because I thought it was pretty awesome that Jake Paul would say that. All right. So Kamala Harris is still attempting to be relevant, right? I'm trying not to talk about Kamala Harris, but anyways. So she posted this on her X page, right? Under the Biden and Harris administration, we have witnessed 3 strongest years of small business applications on record. We are on track for a 4th. And we've seen a record of small business creations from Black Hispanics and women entrepreneurs. And then she goes on to highlight all of the Biden-Harris accomplishments. The reason why I'm sharing you this is because Elon Musk is one of the most epic trolls ever. Elon Musk opened up a Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, X handle. He also opened up a Doge Facebook. And he immediately responds, "We will do an audit and release our findings on this claim." Elon and Vivek are gonna shake some stuff up. And I thought this was just an epic troll. Novi says, oh, bullshit. There were bullshit. Those were starting under Trump. Yes. Yep. And some of those were bounce back jobs. Now, there's been this in the last live. I went over some of the stuff that's going on in Bucks County. Bucks County, they're not talking about this in the mainstream media. The Bucks County potential recount. Donald Trump goes on his Truth Social account and X account and says this: the communist Democrats are trying to actually steal Bucks County, Pennsylvania, even though the election has already been called for me. They are suspiciously counting ballots almost 2 weeks after the election night. Enough skullduggery, and they're opening up Pandora's box. This is crazy because Bucks County is trying to do this recount, and then also Lancaster, Pennsylvania, got busted for large-scale voter registrations and thousands of applicants with the same handwriting and fake signatures. This is 10 days after the election. Like, what are these people doing?
Everyone, District Attorney Heather Adams. On Tuesday afternoon, I was contacted by Krista Miller, who is our Chief Clerk of Elections, regarding potentially fraudulent voter registration applications that had recently been received by her office. At that time, she informed me that the elections office received approximately 2,500 applications at or near the deadline for registering to vote. While preparing to process these applications, staff noticed that numerous applications appeared to have the same handwriting, were filled out on the same day with unknown signatures, and some were previously registered voters, excuse me, and the signatures on file did not match the signatures on the application. So before I begin to summarize our preliminary findings, I must remind everyone that this is an ongoing investigation, and for that reason, I will be limited in the details that I can provide.
This is bananas to me. Okay, Florida had their votes counted very quickly. Florida. And you're telling me Bucks County, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania cannot count their votes? They can't complete their votes. Nevada took a very long time. There was a commission's hearing yesterday in Nevada regarding elections, the votes not being able to be counted. Novi says Kamala Harris is like a rash that won't go away. Yes. I'm so glad I don't have to listen to that god awful laugh anymore. Yeah, me too. But this is absolutely ridiculous to me.
Lancaster County detectives began investigating the voter registration applications and immediately found applications that were indeed fraudulent. Indicators of fraud included inaccuracies with the addresses listed on the applications, false personal identification information, as well as false names. A number of the applications also contained names that did not match the provided Social Security information. In some cases, applications contained correct personal identification information, such as the correct address, correct phone number, date of birth, driver's license number, and Social Security number. But the individuals listed on the applications informed detectives that they did not request the form, they did not complete the form, and verified that the signature on the form was not theirs. At this point, it is believed that the fraudulent voter registrations are connected to a large-scale canvassing operations for voter registrations that date back to June. However, the majority of the applications received are dated August 15th and after. Those canvassing for voter registrations were employed and paid to obtain voter registration applications. The majority of the applications were from residents in the city of Lancaster. However, applications were also received from residents in Columbia, Elizabethtown, Mountjoy, Akron, Ephrata, Stevens, Strasburg, as well as other locations across Lancaster County.
This is bananas. It's bananas to me. Okay? Rob says, I can't believe the Supreme Court isn't stepping in. This is what Rob said. Shout out to Rob. What's up, Rob? Lily says, these loonies need to be jailed. No wonder why American people don't trust the government at all. 100%. It is ridiculous. Gina tried, Gina here in the chat said that she wanted to work for the polls and they denied her, probably because she's a Republican. That's what she said. Brad Payton says they're cheating again. That's what they do. They just cheat, right? Presumably, YouTube. Shout out to Novi for the $2 super chat. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much. To count votes, not in envelopes and not dated. Scam. You know, and in Nevada, here in Nevada, they can count, it's crazy. They can count the votes 4 days after it's been mailed in. It is ridiculous. It's dumb. It's cheating. That's what it is. 10 days ago, the election went. Milf and Coffee. Ain't nobody but Shaka Khan. Can we get some cheating again? This is wild to me. And speaking about Supreme Court, CNN is openly speaking about running a shadow government during the Trump administration. This was aired on CNN.
Throw out anything with 47th president on it. And there's one more idea, a shadow government, similar to the UK, a group of lawmakers that mirrors the cabinet and publicly challenges them. Say Senator-elect Adam Schiff as Shadow Attorney General, Congressman Gregory Meeks, Secretary of State, or Colorado Senator Michael Bennet as Treasury Secretary. Well, that idea isn't just coming from a strategist, but a lawmaker. And joining me now, the man behind this idea, Congressman Wiley Nickel, a Democrat from North Carolina. No dream music needed. You're in person with us. Congressman, why do you think this is the way to possibly challenge this administration?
First of all, this is something we can do. This is something that definitely can happen. And they've been doing it for over 100 years in the UK. Mm-hmm. So this is an idea that his time has come. And if we do the exact same thing against Trump, we're going to get the same results. We have to step up our game. We have to go toe to toe with Trump. And it's not just about saying, you know, what we're against. It's about saying what we're for and putting our best messengers out there.
This is complete BS, right? Stacey says no shadow bull crap. Get GTFO. It's bananas. Like, and then CNN openly airs this, right? Saying, oh, this is the way that we have to run it. These people aren't American first. They're not America first, right? If they were America first, they'd listen and be open to new ideas. They're just not open and ready to listen to ideas that aren't theirs, that don't fill their pocketbooks. And that's the biggest BS about the system itself. Is it has shown, this election and the past 4 years to me have definitely shown how much these Democrats and the bureaucracy up top want to fill out their own pocket. You think about Nancy Pelosi, right? Nancy Pelosi wants to run for re-election. She's 140 years old right now, okay? And she's going to run for re-election. What, to get more stock picks? I don't get it. It's complete garbage. It is absolute garbage. And he says, it wouldn't surprise me at all if people went to her rally, voted multiple times. Exactly, right? This is why they had these sanctuary cities, and we'll get into Mayor Eric Adams here in a minute, but that's why they had these sanctuary cities where they were commuting illegal migrants to these cities so they can potentially vote blue because they're getting EBT, they're getting transportation, they're getting housing. Why wouldn't you vote blue, right? It's interesting. Allison says, what's the purpose? And it's dangerous. Exactly. It's dangerous to not adhere to or not even listen to some ideas that are coming out of the new administration. John Fetterman, you guys remember John Fetterman? He had in an article with MS or NBC, right? John Fetterman says Democrats need to stop freaking out over everything that Trump does. And, you know, he's kind of humorous for this, but Fetterman's right? Everybody is freaking out. Robert says Nancy Pelosi looks like a meth head. Martha Stewart should be screaming about insider. Yeah, absolutely. Martha Stewart went to jail. She went to jail. Or I don't even know how long she was there for. But anyways, John Fetterman says we need to stop freaking out over everything that Trump does. This is, let's see, she looks like she would steal. Oh, man. Went to inform me that an openly gay man went to inform me that the Amish, every person in PA worked out butts off, and I literally have 350 note cards just to stem the misinformation. Good stuff. Kamala got 73 million votes, like 81 million voted for Biden. Yeah, all the people that voted for Biden were dead in 2020. So, and it's funny, I was reading a statistic that 15 million people were had fatalities from the vaccine in over the past 4 years, and maybe that's where the voters went. I don't know. Just presuming, right? Just presuming. We're going to jump into Eric Adams. Now we're going to go into The View, and I know you guys don't like The View. I don't necessarily like The View, but I like it for the humor. I enjoy the humor from The View because they need to get canceled already. They need to get absolutely canceled. But they were trying to reel in Mayor Eric Adams, right? And Eric Adams had some real things to say about their TDS that they got going on, right? He was talking about just being more open and transparent about the new administration versus trying to demonize. Let's jump into this clip.
Talking about RFK Jr. being the head of HHS. What do you think about that appointment?
The executives will nominate and bring in those who they believe will move their vision forward. And everything from the fluoride issue, I believe we should have fluoride in the water based on what my experts are telling me. But let's be clear, there's a real problem with our food in our country. And we need to watch what we're feeding our children. And
what is the major problem, do you think?
Too much hormones. You know, many people know my, you know, I almost lost my sight with diabetes. The doctor told me I would be blind in a year. I was going to lose my fingers and toes. And it was my food. It wasn't my DNA. It was my dinner.
But JFK Jr. RFK Jr. ate some pork and now he has a brain worm. Is he the person that should be in charge of that?
Yeah, well, let's
food?
Right. And let's understand this also. In all of these agencies, there are thousands of employees and experts that understand these topics, and there are rules, there are regulations.
Mayor, a lot of them want to resign. When they see some of the people that are going to be on top, I think there's going to be a mass exodus of people who.
She's a dummy. I don't like her. I don't like anybody on The View, right? The only reason why I like The View is because I can openly make fun of them. But Mayor Eric Adams has a point here. This woman, I don't even know her name, but I don't even care to know her name. But yeah, she's garbage.
Who have the institutional knowledge and the institutional memory and DOD
Well, I would hope so
at HHS. Who wants to work under our cook?
And let me respond to that. If we love our country, then no one individual should take us away from our mission.
Yes.
If you dedicated your life to a particular place, I dedicated my life to law enforcement. So if a new commissioner came in that I disagreed with, I was not going to say, I'm going to resign. Let's love the country. Let's love our cities. Let's get away from the rhetoric of the professionalism that we know. Those are experts in this. They're going to look at his proposal, do a real analysis, and make these decisions. It happens every day.
Shouldn't he have a background at least? He should have some kind of background in this type of thing.
Let me just, okay, so Mayor, when Trump returns to office, he will actually have a lot of power with the Republican-controlled Senate and House. He suggested at times using the National Guard to target the enemy within, and key members of his last administration called him a fascist. But you've defended him. Can you explain?
No, I defended the rhetoric that we're using across our country and what our children are listening to and what we're doing. We've reached a point in this country where we no longer want to engage in conversation.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Thank you.
I'm calling him Hitler. That's an insult.
That was only his vice president.
That was an insult. That was an insult to the millions of Jews and others who died. We know what Hitler did. And what I said to our country, when I'm on the streets talking to my young people who are protesting on college campuses, wearing Hamas signs and calling for the destructions of groups, I said, we have to bring down this rhetoric. We have to start engaging in conversation. You know, Obama said it right, and I agree. This is not the divided state. This is the United States. We're the greatest country on the globe, and people are watching us and name calling.
But do you think Trump should have brought down the rhetoric? Because
everybody should.
Well, let's start at the top then, because maybe it trickles down.
Everybody should. Everybody should.
These people are trash. I just gotta say that, right? These people on The View are the number one source of continuing perpetuant negative rhetoric, especially during the presidential campaign. Same thing with Joy Hairline Reid. Same thing. Robert says, Sonny is the absolute worst. Gina says, these hags make my blood pressure go up. Absolutely. It's just ridiculous to me, but Mayor Adams had a point, right? And just listening to the existing administration and to say that, oh, just because you don't like this particular thing, you're going to resign. No, listen to new ideas. This is how you make the country better. This is how you make businesses better, just period. If you think about the country, if you're running it like a business, then you just got to be open to listen to new ideas. And that's not what they're doing. I'm going to jump into some comments here. Mom is a Democrat, will never vote any other way. She was tickled pink for RFK. She thanked me for voting for Trump just for RFK, but she still hates Trump. LOL. That's what Thelma says. I think RFK is going to do some really good things. And, those individuals on The View are saying, oh, well, they don't have any previous experience, blah, 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 blah. But if you look at the current cabinet, which we'll get into here in a minute, Newsmax did an expose on them. They didn't have any current or previous experience either. One of them was a Walmart greeter. It's crazy. It is crazy. So this is a really funny clip. Chicago residents are absolutely pissed off at Brandon Johnson because Brandon Johnson in Chicago is saying, oh, we're not going to listen and deport anybody. But here is what the residents had to say in an open commission hearing. It's hilarious.
Good afternoon.
I want to know, how does it feel that Trump is in office right now? You see the Mayor Brandon Johnson? You underestimate us. You underestimate the black people, and you underestimate Chicago Red. We're the thorn in y'all side, and we're going to be the thorn on everybody else in this council member side too. If you don't stop what you're doing, we're going to take matters in our own hand, and we're going to stop it. You know that Trump had pulled 45% of the voter in the state of Illinois, 37 in the city of Chicago. That's the statistic. That means that Illinois is turning purple. We're going to turn red.
Y'all can bird dog me all y'all want, but if it's relationship over duty, then y'all don't serve the blue. And you can smirk all you want.
Mr. Sims, direct your attention towards me, please.
You're a criminal. Why do I got to address you? The feds need to address you. DOJ need to address you, and hopefully Donald Trump will address you. Because you're going to protect the undocumented. Why you going to allow for the citizens in Chicago to suffer under your, 33%? See, Joe Lopez cooked that 3% up a long time ago. Y'all called it a circuit breaker. Y'all been talked about it. Remember, before you came in here and gave that jovial speech, you need to be inspected. You and that creep over there.
Acting like, you just going to bully everybody. You got people, officers whose families don't even want you to come to the funeral.
People are pissed. People are absolutely pissed because some of these places are saying that they're not going to deport illegals, right? California is one of them. Gavin Newsom openly came out and said the same thing. The Chicago mayor said the same thing. Shout out to Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie, for the $5 super chat. Really appreciate you showing love to our hosts, mods, and patriots coming in hot and late. Late is better than never. Thanks a lot, Stephanie. Appreciate you so much. I had one of my buddies was actually on the open commission hearing for Nevada, and openly I'll pull the clip, but he absolutely destroyed because they only gave them 1 minute each to talk. and he absolutely destroyed the crooked Clark County Commission. It was hilarious. It's interesting to see, and you see it all across the board, that American citizens are no longer dealing with the bull crap of some of these Democrat leaders that are in place, and they're not standing for it anymore. Specifically in Chicago, I would be pissed if I was in Chicago. I would be pissed if I was in California. You know, let's say you bought a high rise in California, or you're renting something, and you got bums on the middle of the street. You got bums right outside your front door. Crazy. Whoopi's been in the news because she has some serious TDS, and she wanted to get a cupcake to coddle herself after her loss. And she complained that the bakery was they discriminated against her because she was a Democrat.
The name of the bakery explicitly. If you Google Charlotte Russe, there is only one bakery in New York that carries this particular cupcake. And they wanted to pre-order it. She called. She said, it wasn't my gender, it was my politics. How the hell do you know that? They can prove that the oven wasn't working. But the next day it was working. So they were able to sell the cupcakes. So it was a false statement. It was made publicly. And they can sue for damages because it was a lie. It was defamatory. They were subject to contempt and an unsavory opinion, which is why they held a press conference. That's it. You have to find it.
So the bakery came out after Whoopi said, "Oh, they didn't give me my cupcake to crave my sweet tooth because I'm a Democrat." And the bakery had to hold a press conference to say, no. That wasn't the situation. Our ovens were broken. We're business people, and we service everybody. And that's what proper business people do, is we service everybody, regardless race, creed, color, or anything like that. And that's the way that America should be, just in general. Just my 2 cents there. But they had an open press conference about this, and it's a thing, I guess.
Whoopi Goldberg causing problems for a bakery, and now a Staten Island bureau president is speaking. Let's watch.
And I think the bottom line here is, after we're going to call up Jill, who has had to endure something that she shouldn't have to endure. These people are up at 3 or 4 o'clock every morning. The sacrifices they've made, the holidays they've missed with their families. To make Staten Island better, they have sacrificed for 145 years. Rutherford B. Hayes was the president of the United States, for God's sakes. And they're still here, and they're still strong, and they're not going anywhere, despite what other people on television have to say. And frankly, the people who defamed the Holterman family should apologize to the Holterman family for making stuff up to suit their needs. Not everybody wakes up every day and thinks about politics. A good business person doesn't care about anybody's politics. So with that, I'd like to call up Jill Holterman Bowers. She deserves 110% support. Jill, come on.
It's a community that I have to tell you, I'm so overwhelmed by the support between finding out yesterday this even happened, getting phone calls, and then people coming in, people from all over just supporting us in every way. We had phone calls yesterday from Alabama. Guy says, I'm going to give you $50, send it to a school, send them donuts, send them cupcakes. The support has been so overwhelming, and I know how hard my family has worked to keep this business alive. And I wish my father was here today to see this. He would never believe it. My bakers come in 2 or 3 in the morning just to have donuts and rolls for everybody to come in and say, we have the best rolls ever. And you know what? It took my whole family. It takes everybody, the community that comes every day to see us. We have this everyday conversation with everybody. How's the family? How's this? This is what makes Holterman's. It's the community. It's my fellow everything that come out, and us giving back to the community that makes this go round. And if it wasn't for you and Staten Island to make this work, we still wouldn't be here today.
This person doesn't seem like an individual that would refuse service to Whoopi for being a Democrat.
In the back is here 6 days a week. He gives his heart and soul to this place. And you know what? My father always said, you do what you love. I'm telling you, this is my heart. And I thank you so much for everybody come out and support us.
So anyways, Whoopi says, you know, they didn't give her the cupcakes because she was a Democrat. And they held this press conference just to show that, hey, that's not the situation. And now Whoopi's lying. The predator's lying.
Again, it's been here 145 years. They had a boiler that was 60 or 70 years old. And the first week in November, guess what? It went on the fritz. They had to be replaced. And the reputation of Holterman's is impeccable. So rather than commit to something they couldn't guarantee, they say we can't do it. And the person who besmirched and defamed them took that as an insult to her. Well, get over it. This family will be here for, God willing, another 145 years. And as Jill said, it's her family. It's the Staten Island community. It's the elected officials.
And you know, Whoopi, by the way, you know, one day of not eating a cupcake's not going to hurt you, right? And she also said that she's going to go on a sex strike. I don't know who's having sex with that anyways, but good for you, Whoopi. Anyways, Rob says, I've seen your podcast from 2 years ago talking about real estate. It was pretty cool. Thank you so much. Yeah, those of you that don't know, I have been in the real estate space since 2012, investing in real estate since 2015, purchased some properties, and we've worked with some heavy portfolios and purchased properties across the nation and things like that. It's pretty cool. So thank you for that, Rob. Let me jump down to some of these comments here. I've seen this. I see this earlier. This shit is fire. Yeah, they lit them up on Chicago. They lit them up. Oh, I didn't realize I was back rolled on comments. Hold on. Whoopi Cushion has issues. She needs to retire too. I think so. All right. Now, so we got Whoopi out the way, and now Miss Jean-Pierre is fired. She's fired. She's out of here. And Glad, I don't know where, I've said this before, but I don't know where she's getting her wardrobe advice from. She has I think she's just pulling wardrobe advice and inspiration from previous Jim Carrey movies. She looked like the Mask a couple months ago, and then she had the suits from Dumb and Dumber. Good for her. But here is the new press secretary, Karoline Leavitt. And CNN was just like, WTF, we got to cut the feed. They cut the feed here. Listen to this.
It takes someone 5 minutes to Google Jake Tapper, Donald Trump, to see that Jake Tapper has consistently,
we're going to stop this interview if you're going to keep
President
attacking my
Trump to
colleagues.
Adolf Hitler.
Ma'am, I'm going to stop this interview if you
I'm
continue to attack my colleagues. I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
Yes.
If you are here to speak on his behalf,
and I
am
will
willing
do
to
that.
have this conversation.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay,
Now, as
I'm
for
sorry,
this
guys.
debate,
We're going to
the
come back out to the
expectation
panel.
for-
Caroline,
the
thank you very much for
expectation
your time. You are welcome to come back at any point. She is welcome to come back and.
What a witch. You cut the feed because they're not agreeing with you? Come on, man. This is how you only get triggered when you know that they're right. And they literally just cut her off.
Speak on his behalf,
And I
am
will
willing
do
to
that.
have this conversation.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay,
Now, as
I'm
for
sorry,
this
guys.
debate,
We're going to
the
come back out to the
expectation
panel.
for-
Caroline,
the
thank you very much for
expectation
your time.
Ridiculous. This is the new press secretary, by the way. I'm super excited about this pick. She's 27 or 28 years old. And she has been representing Donald Trump throughout this presidential campaign. And I love this pick. She is going to handle, there was rumors around the rumor mill that it would have been Candace Owens was advocating for Alex Jones, but Alex Jones has a lot of things going on. But this is the new press secretary. Karoline Leavitt. Here she is again, right after the election.
You want to talk about violence against political opponents? Let's talk about the fact that Democrats have been labeling President Trump a threat to democracy for the better half of 10 years. Let's talk about how they have compared him to Hitler, one of the worst mass murderers in the history of the world, and that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden weaponized the court system and the justice system in this country against Donald Trump in an attempt to imprison him. He sat through a courthouse for 7 weeks this past year, and the Democrats were hoping he would go to jail for it. That is real political violence that has led to 2 heinous assassination attempts on President Trump's life that, by the grace of God, he was able to escape, and he is here with us today. So yes, President Trump knows a little bit about political violence because he's experienced it himself. And talking about the tragic realities of war that Liz Cheney and her father, Dick Cheney, have got this country into is not political violence. It's talking about the reality of the foreign conflicts that the Washington, D.C. establishment have sold out young Americans to for decades.
Yet, of course, after those attempted assassination attempts on the former president's life, his opponents,
they don't know what to say,
reached out to him and said they do not accept political violence. That has been a key difference. I do want to play you.
No, please. His opponents are saying to this very day the same rhetoric that led to those 2 assassination attempts. The second attempted assassin on President Trump's life echoed the sentiment that President Trump is a threat to democracy. And if you're a deranged lunatic and you're mentally ill, you will believe that lie. And yes, you will take political violence like we have seen in 2 instances against President Trump. Last week, Tim Walz and Kamala Harris said that everyone who showed up to President Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden was a Nazi. That's despicable, dangerous, divisive rhetoric that is spewed by the Democrat Party every single day. And I'm so sick and tired of the media pointing the finger at Donald Trump and saying that he is sowing division in this country. He is not. The media is for pushing hoaxes like the one that you all pushed today, and the Democrat Party is for pushing lies about him. But the good news is Americans don't buy it. And that's why today in 2024, President Trump is more popular than he has been since 2016, because people don't trust the media and they're not buying the Harris campaign's closing argument that he's some great threat to our democracy, because they lived under him for 4 years as president, and our democracy and our country was stronger than it is today.
She was cooking. She was cooking. Oh, man. I am excited. Mophead, see you later. Jean-Pierre, see you later. Au revoir. This woman, Gina, says she is a pit bull. Yes, she is. Where's this comment here? This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. I am going to miss, Stephanie says, I am going to miss the dialogue between Peter and Miss Pierre, but her and Peter get along well. Them against the room, 100%. Novi says, I can't wait till the deep platform mad cow. Yeah, everybody's getting shaken up. MSDNC, CNN, Washington Post, all these places are like, wow, we have too far left views. We need more conservative folks on these platforms. And Novi says, all the women around Trump are vicious, gorgeous women, 100%. And speaking of that, can you believe that D-bag Mark Cuban for saying such derogatory comments that Donald Trump doesn't have any smart, intelligent women around him? He is a dummy. He's the dummy, right? He's the one that's deleting all of his Kamala Harris posts all of a sudden. He's the one that is probably upset because he was a surrogate for Kamala Harris and didn't get $10 million to speak. He's probably a little bitter. He better call up Diddy. Here's what Newsmax had to say about the existing cabinet picks.
Every time I hear somebody criticize a Trump cabinet pick, I'm reminded of two things. One is fairly inconsequential. We're 67 days from Inauguration Day, and it's really tough to criticize somebody when they haven't even started the job. But the second is really important. Every time somebody criticizes a Trump cabinet selection, I think about the last 4 years. I think about the caliber of the people that Joe Biden hired for really important jobs. All the diversity, equity, and inclusion hires, all the people that got jobs based on skin color, gender, sexual orientation. I think about people like Rachel Levine, our assistant health secretary, a woman who at one point was a man, married to a woman for 25 years with 2 children, who decided in her 50s to become a woman. All of that, of course, is her prerogative. This is America. She can do that. Rachel Levine says that she's a woman. Fine. But was she really the best possible pick for health secretary of all things? Health secretary? Do you think that maybe this woman and her views on health are just a little out of step with the mainstream? I'll let you decide at home. Then I think about people like Sam Brinton, who identifies as non-binary. And while I don't really know what that means, I truly do not. I know that on the day that he was born, he was definitely a boy, but I guess that changed. In Joe Biden's America, I suppose that happens from time to time. But Joe Biden thought that Sam Brinton was also the most qualified person in America to serve as our Deputy Assistant Secretary of Nuclear Energy, a job he held for exactly 6 months. It turns out that old Sam lost his job after he was arrested for stealing people's luggage at airports and then wearing the clothes around. So again, I ask, was Sam Brinton, the non-binary man with a mustache and lipstick, really the most qualified person to serve as our Secretary of Nuclear Energy? You think maybe Sam is a little out of step with the mainstream? Again, I will let you decide at home. But Sam now, he lost his job, he's been doing some consulting. And on his LinkedIn page, it says, quote, I have a proven track record of success in leading and growing organizations in the nonprofit, public, and private sector. My peers would say that I have extraordinary skills in identifying unique government affairs opportunities. Extraordinary, by the way, is...
This person got canned for stealing luggage and wearing it around. Good pick, Biden.
Extraordinary. No, Samuel. Your peers would say that you have extraordinary skills at identifying good bags to steal at the airport. That's what they'd say. And then I think about people like our press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre. She thinks that she's a historic figure. Take her words for it.
A year in this role, there's been a couple of things that has made me incredibly proud. Many things that made me incredibly proud to be at that podium during this historic moment. Again, this is a historic administration. I'm a historic figure, and I certainly walk in history every day. But this is also a historic making administration because of this president.
Whoa, whoa! I'm a historic figure. Now think about the type of person that would actually say something like that. Think about the ego on somebody to say something like that. How unself-aware could you possibly?
Exactly. I'm a historic figure in a historic administration. Yeah, the historically worst administration ever. You surpassed Carter. Nobody's going to remember Karine Jean-Pierre in a matter of years. They're only going to remember the memes and the conversations between her and getting roasted by Peter Doocy.
Possibly be. If we brought George Washington back from the dead and sat him down for an interview today, I don't think he'd say that. I don't think he'd say that if you asked him directly. Yes, Karine Jean-Pierre is historic, but it's not because she was the first openly gay woman to deliver a White House press briefing, according to the Associated Press, and only the second Black woman to take on that role. How long are we going to do that, by the way? If Donald Trump were to nominate a Black woman for press secretary, would we say that she's the third, and then the fourth, and then the fifth, and then the sixth, and then the seventh? Again, I'll let you decide at home. But all these jobs are about serving you, the American people, not about checking a box. Okay, we've got a gay woman, a trans woman, a non-binary person. We've got our first ever Southeast Asian Black vice president. I'm talking about Kamala Harris, of course, a woman who...
She's not even Black, bro. She's Hindu, Asian, and Jew. She's not even Black.
Was chosen for the job because her boss said that he would pick a woman, and then he was pressured by the media to pick a Black woman And that's why we got Kamala. But was she really the best person for the job? Well, if we base that pick on her ability to take over for Joe Biden someday, we got the answer last Tuesday. She lost to Donald Trump. She failed that test on Tuesday. So no, she was not the best pick for that job. And anyone criticizing a Trump cabinet pick right now, compare the Trump pick to their current counterpart in the Biden administration, and then get back to me and let me know who you trust more to do a better job. What Donald Trump is doing right now is different. He's trying to find the right people for each job, not people that will get him pats on the back from the media. And the only Democrat that seems to get this is John Fetterman. Take a listen.
I would describe it as God tier level trolling to just trigger a full-on China syndrome to own the libs in perpetuity.
All right, the media keeps describing loyalty like it's somehow a bad thing, but think about your own life. How much do you value loyalty? Loyalty is a core component to the human experience. There's no way around that. Would you marry someone if they weren't loyal or faithful? Donald Trump's cabinet right now reminds me a lot of the 1992 U.S. Olympic Dream Team.
Yes, it does. It really does.
The greatest basketball team ever assembled. They were picked, everybody on that team, to play a specific role on the team. Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson. But you know who wasn't on that team? The best point guard on the planet at that time, Isaiah Thomas, was not on that 1992 team because nobody really liked him. No one wanted to play with him. And Donald Trump is trying to do the same thing right now. He's assembling his dream team. And he's not picking the people that the media wants him to pick. He's picking who he needs to win, who he needs to make America great again.
Boom. There you have it. There you have it. The media is in a frenzy for all the picks, right? Gina says she wants to expose Levine. I'm with that. I'm with that. Make Kamala Indian again. Candace Owens has some great she has some trolling merch. She has the red hat and it says make Kamala Indian again. And then she has the beanies with the make Kamala Indian again. Paula says, not black, Indian. That was probably one of the biggest publicized scandals, I think, of this election was Kamala doing blackface to the every single citizen in the United States, right? It's crazy to me. It is absolutely bananas to me. And I've heard through the news mill that she is going to run for governor of California. Whatever. She'll probably lose. Milf and Coffee says she's not even Indian, neither black. She's real, not, or even real Irish, or even real white. What the fuck is she? Who knows? Who knows? Thank you so much for the super chat. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. I hardly get a chance to catch your lives. Thank you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Really, really appreciate you for the, thank you so much. Fetterman goes to whatever side is in power. Yep. Same thing with AOC. Same thing with AOC. I'm going to run through these comments here. Let's see. She would be the same kind of governor as Newscomb. I 100% agree with that. Z says, oh, hell no. I live in California. It ain't happening, Kamala. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. She's not. Man. Ugh. I think we only have like, unless she tries to remain relevant like Don Lemon, we only have a couple more weeks of hearing that name. And then Tim Walz is going to disappear into the ethers and we're never going to hear about Tim Walz again. It's going to be fantastic. Fantastic. Laura Trump is on the job and they are opening Pandora's box if Dems continue this recount BS. I agree with that. I Agree. Laura Trump did a great job this election with monitoring the counts and everything like that. Rob says Kamala will break California within the first year. But remember, Rob, she has a backbone like a ramrod, okay? Kamala should be banned from California, 100%. Yep. So Kamala's political career is done. No one would back her. And she owes so much money. She's so much in debt. What happens to that money? Where does the debt go? Who knows? The Kamala mystery. If you're catching this on the replay, type in replay in the comment section and let me know what you think about Pennsylvania opening up Pandora's box and requesting this recount. What do you think about the new press secretary, Karoline Leavitt? I think it's a fantastic pick. I like the pick. I'm excited. I'm excited. You mean re-break it? She wrote Prop 47. She did. She did. Yep. All right, guys, I am going to jump on out of here. I want to give a huge shout out to all the moderators in the chat, some of the best moderators in the business and the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys are freaking awesome. I truly, truly appreciate each and every single one of you guys. And if you're not part of the Discord group, let me remove this comment so you can see it. There is a Discord link in the description down below. You can check out the Discord link. Most of the communities in there. We share memes and all this other good stuff, and we share news, and then we do events like we did last night. But check out that link in the description down below. But shout out to all the moderators. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I truly, truly appreciate each and every single one of you. Let me make sure that I got everybody. Cool. Awesome. Drop your comments down below. Smash the like button. Share, subscribe. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you guys so much. We'll chat soon.